Bluebird. You certainly could.
All right. I call this meeting of the Transit Advisory Group to order at promptly 5 p.m. I'll now call the roll. Deb Yankee? Here. Brandon Maxwell.
I don't see Brandon up there.
Absent then?
I think he's gonna be late, he said.
Like,
Thanks, Kelly. Dave Nakawara?
Present.
Thanks. Deb Kosteka? John Frasca?
Right here.
Hey,
Laurel Geyer?
I'm here.
Thank
I'm
you.
online.
Thank you. If you'd like to turn your camera on, we're going to be asking you quick, Laurel, in a few minutes to do an introduction. We'd love to see you as we do that.
If I can figure it out, I will.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
that sounds like me.
Becky Kimball. Here. Roseanne Harris, who is here and just
Stepped out for a second.
stepped out, and Tim Caldwell as an excused absence.
Plural.
Laurel, welcome. Okay. So a quorum is present. And we will welcome Brandon if
No,
he joins us a little bit later. So the first item on our agenda is public comment. Does any member of the public wish to give public comment? If you are online, please raise your hand. If you are on the phone, please press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute.
there's Brandon.
Brandon is here, yes.
Hello,
Brandon.
can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Doesn't look like we've,
All right,
no one wants to comment.
I just want to double check here. We've got some tech conversations going on to make sure that we give everybody time.
Has Tom Tiersch raised his hand?
No.
No, okay.
Okay.
You may comment.
And I'm going to close public comment and move on to the introduction of our new TAG members, Laurel Geyer. Welcome, Laurel. We're so happy to have you with us. Would you give us a very short introduction to what brings you to the Transit Advisory Group?
Sure. I ride the bus a lot. I went many years without a car, and I really love our bus system. Now I have a car, but I only use it maybe once a week. I prefer the bus because I can walk to the bus stops and go where I'm going and catch the next bus. And I love it now that it's no pay. And I just really want more people to be riding the bus that maybe are afraid of it for some reason. And I felt like maybe I could help on those kind of issues. Is that?
Well, that is
enough?
great because we're going to be having a presentation today that will maybe help with lowering barriers to transit ridership.
Okay. Was I supposed to?
No, that's fine. We're just going to get to know each other. Well, I'll get to know each other a little bit as we work together over the coming months. Our next agenda item is the consent agenda, approval of the March 5th, 2025 minutes. Any discussion on the minutes?
I have one question. If I may, there were 3 motions and one is 7-0 by voice vote, one is 8-0 by voice vote, and one is 7-0 with one abstaining. But the first 7-0 doesn't say that anybody abstained. Is there a problem there?
Sometimes if somebody comes in late.
So that's probably what it is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the sum total of my comments.
That is a good catch, though. Thanks for keeping it. Thanks for helping us do the math on that. Other comments on the minutes? Questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve the minutes of the
I'll
consent
motion to
agenda.
approve.
Excuse me. Was that
Um,
Brandon?
That was John.
Oh, John.
Would you second?
I'll second.
Call for the vote then. All in favor of approving the minutes for March 5th, 2025, please say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, we have our Jefferson Transit Authority Board update. I'm happy to say we have Commissioner Brotherton with us today as our official liaison. Commissioner, would you like to provide us with an update of the conversation from the April board meeting and highlights that you'd like to, or any issues you'd like to draw our attention to?
Is he?
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I
Greg.
Can't hear you,
He
Greg.
unmuted himself. Is he unmuted at our end?
Hey, Greg, we're working on it. Hang on.
We could hear him when
We
he
could
first
hear him
came on.
earlier.
Yeah, we could before. And he's unmuted. We see you.
Yeah, he's unmuted.
talking.
See nothing on our end. Yeah.
But he unmuted.
It might be that your computer speakers are off. That could be a possible. Yeah.
You may have to tell Zoom where to
I'll
look.
find my update. Oh, that's awesome. I want to see that actually.
So if I'm happy to do an start just talking about what happened at the board meeting. And Greg, if you want to put into chat or.
Yeah, please start,
Oh,
Nicole.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
there you
are.
are.
You're fine. You're
We
fine.
can hear you.
Okay, I've been having unstable internet. Perhaps that's it. And I should have just pretended I was still muted because Nicole would give a much more accurate update. So perhaps I'll turn it over to Nicole afterwards. But thank you guys for letting me join you. And it sounded in the kind of conversation before the meeting was starting that everyone's pretty hip to the COA that is going through drafts, and that's one thing that's really exciting right now. I think we also discussed the Gateway project that I've been working with Nicole and Jamie and other staff on with SCJ Alliance, which is a really exciting project, I think, too, and kind of a highest best use for that Gateway Visitor Center space that we have. We ratified at that last meeting, and then the BOCC agreed to as well, going with one of the design options, which is kind of the having one entrance just for the buses, one entrance, and I'm speaking as if you guys know about it. Am I making sense to people?
I'm realizing we have we have a new board member.
Let me go to a higher level. Sorry, I realized as I was assuming, yeah, welcome Laurel to the tag. So this is a project, we got a grant at Jefferson Transit that had to be in a really quick turnaround, like by the end of June from the beginning of the year, make an initial design for taking the Gateway Visitor Center, which is right at the new roundabout, and really made possible by the new roundabout because the straight shot from Clallam Transit can take a left there now in a safe way with the roundabout. So if we update that parking lot so it can take the big straight shot 1, 2, 3 from Clallam County, then we can connect our two lines and also get that horrible Discovery Bay bus stop out of operation at Fat Smitty's. That's not really a bus stop, and it's actually, I think there's going to be litigation about that spot here pretty soon from some homeowners. But regardless, with this new kind of nexus, both with the the fastest growing Jefferson Transit route, the Route 14, the Kingston Fast Ferry Express, getting those two routes together really kind of unlocks the hub and spoke model that I think the COA is getting at. Some of the other options that are listed in that COA that I think are really exciting is using that Gateway Visitor Center as a hub for maybe the Brennan Quilcene routes, #1, as well as the Poulsbo route, the #8. Tell me if I get some of these numbers wrong. But so this quick turnaround to get basic design done. So we've been working with, getting our community development folks to get the stormwater information such as we have it over to the consultants really quick and trying to get a design ready. And so what we did at the April meeting was chose one of the 3 designs that they had presented. And basically the distinctions of this design that I think drew us to it is it has ample parking for, single use, I don't know what you call them, single use cars?
Single occupancy.
Single occupancy vehicles, and then also a separate entrance for the buses where they can safely turn around, and if one breaks down, there's room for them to get around, so the right turning radiuses. Means removing the building there, and probably there's a property swap at some point if it's just a park and ride, which is what we're really talking about out there. Then that's a conversation for another day. So we both at the BOCC level, the Board of County Commissioners, and at the Jefferson Transit Authority Board agreed on this design with the 2 entrances and removal of the building. So they're moving forward to get that done by the end of June. And I think making good progress still. The stormwater is, I think, the biggest challenge, and you know, right sizing the engineering for the right amount of concrete for the buses or pavement for the vehicles is also, you know, not nothing. So that's the work going on there. And I think I'm really excited about it. Then also just on the fiscal angle, you know, I'm as the vice chair this year, I also participated in the fiscal committee. So just to give you a slight update there, it's kind of like everywhere else, a lot of uncertainty going forward. Sales tax are kind of down from our projections, but still relatively healthy. So we just, you know, Jefferson Transit has the luxury of being in and due to the good work of our staff, in a very safe and healthy financial status, and we continue to be. But like other organizations, we just need to keep an eye out on the looming potential recession, or, you know, trends towards recession. So I think those were the high points I was going to share. Nicole, do you want to highlight anything else?
I think you hit the high notes as far as what would be really interesting for this group.
That's good, because usually Nicole steals all the best parts from all the department reports at the Jefferson Transit Authority Board meeting. She wants to, you know,
That's why
she
you
should
need
go
to go
last.
first.
So, yeah. So I'm glad that I turned the tables on her. But thanks for having me here. And if there's any questions, I'd love to try to answer them or bring back answers at the next meeting.
Yeah, I have a quick question. You mentioned that you were thinking about the Gateway Visitor Center project design by the end of June. Our next TAG meeting is July 2nd. I wonder if that is a potential agenda item for us just to review it and get some input from the county, partly because our role is to be transit advocates. It would be great if somebody from the county could walk us through that so we could be knowledgeable about what's coming and share that news with others.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, and
Sorry, Nicole.
so what Commissioner Brotherton was saying is we had an opportunity to apply for a grant, and that grant was specifically for agencies that are helping to get people to Washington State ferries. So we partnered with Olive Transit on this grant as well as Jefferson County. So the plan was to put together a site plan so that we could go out for another grant to actually do the work. So it's really will be just simply a site plan. So more than happy in July to bring forth the site plan to this group just to talk about. Because really that's step 1. Step 2 is getting some money to put our plan into action. You know, and applying for some grants, and that will probably most likely happen in the fall, that we would apply for any grants that come available, but happy to add that to the agenda for July.
We can go over the design at least. You know, it's helpful to see it in pictures of the site. So I think it's a great idea. And I guess, Nicole, a question for you. Is that same creating public transit access to the ferries program also support capital asks? Is that one of the possible pots of money we might go holding our hat out to?
That particular grant really isn't designed for capital projects. But when we initially started this project, we reached out to WashDOT, and the idea was a bus and bus facilities grant. So I think there's some other grant opportunities that may work for us within the transportation kind of realm of WashDOT. But yeah, we'll look at any and all opportunities as they come available. And I think we'll be better positioned because we do have a shovel-ready project. So our project will be a bit more attractive.
That's the reason, yeah, that we feel so good about doing this, is because that's what wins these larger contracts. And it's really impressive what you guys do, not just in understanding the grants and everything and choosing the appropriate one, but, you know, working with Clallam Transit and WashDOT and the partnership and the networking that you guys do is, I think, something that it's easy to take for granted, but I really appreciate it in a smaller organization like Jefferson Transit.
if it's a transit grant, because of our size, we typically have a lower match. So it's beneficial for Jefferson Transit to apply for it, and take advantage of that lower match.
Great. We would love to help advocate for this whenever you're ready to have us do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, is it my turn now?
Yes,
I just want to make sure,
Oh.
is there any other questions for Commissioner Brothers?
that was a big one.
Good.
Thank you.
All right,
Super helpful
I'll be there in
update.
person for the summer meeting.
Yay.
All right, we'll see you on July 7th. Nicole, over to you for staff reports.
Okay, so I have just a few things. The ridership information is in the packet, and I won't go over that one in depth because you can all kind of read through the ridership. But I did want to highlight that on Monday, we launched our additional service time for the Kingston Express. So we were able to add a later run on the Kingston Express. We were so excited, and then we had to cancel it because of the bridge. So we had 0 riders on that day, but that's okay. Yes, we're off to a kind of a slow start. So yesterday, I think we had 1 rider taking advantage of that later run to Kingston. But we're talking about it down at Haynes Place. We're meeting buses, we're talking to people, reminding them, and we're sending out emails and doing some Facebook posts and hopefully trying to build up just the knowledge that we have an additional run for Kingston. So we're really excited that we were able to launch that, at this time when we are going into the summer schedule. Second thing I wanted to just quickly mention is that earlier this year, I think I talked about how Jefferson Transit staff was putting out an RFP for a project manager to help us with some of our technology projects. And that really the technology projects revolve around updating our paratransit software. So the software that helps us do scheduling for Dial a Ride, that sort of thing. And then also we've been talking a lot about like a Where's My Bus type of app. And it's called the CAD ABL system. So being able to track our fixed route buses. So at the April board meeting, we did request from the board the ability to sign a contract with Left Turn, Right Turn to become our project manager to start that process. The board agreed. And for those of you, and Laurel too, I think we kind of touched on this in our debrief on Monday, but Left Turn, Right Turn is the organization that's helping us right now with our comprehensive operational analysis. So they're very familiar with Jefferson Transit's strengths and also some of our opportunities, which is our technology. So we're very excited. We're having a kickoff meeting tomorrow with them while they're in town to start that process. We will be tackling our paratransit software issue first, and then we will be moving into the CAD ABL system. That is strategic in that our contract with RouteMatch is ending sooner. And that's a bit more of a high priority to get that replaced so that we're not signing and extending out a contract that's not working for us. So we'll be hard at work on that technology project, but I feel excited that we're making some progress and we'll be providing updates to this group. For the first part, I'm not sure that it will be too exciting because it's very in-house focused on how we do our scheduling. So it won't be something that is felt by the community, but staff will surely appreciate some new high functioning software. But especially as we get into the CAD ABL system, I know this group has been really interested in how do we remove barriers or, remove barriers for riders and make Jefferson Transit a more user-friendly system to ride. And I think that's really going to be impactful for the community. So that's something that we'll definitely be discussing with this group. My third topic was the COA. the comprehensive operational analysis. We are coming up on the tail end of that project. And we've been just really excited about working with Left Turn, Right Turn, going through this entire process, and excited about the possibilities of these recommendations that they're coming to Jefferson Transit and the community with. But now's the time where we provide input back to Left Turn, Right Turn, and we start getting some feedback from the community. So we have a survey that's open now. I've been sending out emails. I told the group I've been sending out emails to all my friends, which is really just anyone in the community that I've ever talked to or have ever emailed. is getting emails from me saying, hey, help us spread the word. So what Left Turn, Right Turn did to assist community members is they put together a video. It's a 12-minute video, but it runs through all of the recommendations. And then afterwards, there's a survey. The survey is fairly short. It should take, I don't think, more than 5 minutes to complete. But we really felt like the process needed some explanation. The recommendations needed an explanation. So we've been, they're here in town. Left Turn, Right Turn is here in town helping us with engagement. We've been writing all the routes and handing out cards with QR codes, talking to writers about our, service recommendations. We're hosting pop-up events. I don't want to steal your thunder, Kelly. Am I getting close to it? Kelly's going to talk about the
It's okay, you're safe. You're on the other side of the table.
that we've got planned, but you'll see us around. And we're hitting up the farmers markets both Saturday and Sunday this weekend, and then taking full advantage of Roadie Festival next the following weekend with farmers market, and then also the parade. But really trying to spread the word that we'd love some feedback. We're also really making sure that we're documenting verbal feedback as well. I know that at times we struggle with getting folks to take that next step and fill out a survey. So we've kind of established a way where we can document the feedback that we're getting, especially if it's verbal. So that's kind of where we're at. And sorry, Kelly.
Okay.
Also, does anyone have any questions for me? I rattled off 3 things.
I wrote them down.
Yeah. Okay, Kelly.
I'm gonna share my screen for my report. I forgot which screen to share. Always difficult. Hold on. I have so many screens.
While Kelly is figuring this out, I will say that our new electric bus is in the state. It's in Spokane at a maintenance conference right now. And Gillig is happily showing it off. But it is in the state, and that's exciting. So I imagine probably in the next 3 weeks or so, we will see we'll see a new electric bus maybe out on the road.
You're not
Brandon.
You gotta share.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I've ridden the new electric bus and I love it. It's so great. It's so quiet and comfortable. And it looks like it can fit more people on it, but also has more legroom, which I don't
Oh.
really understand.
Yeah.
Is it longer than the other buses?
It's not, it's a 35 footer.
Wow.
So inside, yeah, same number of passengers.
Trust an engineer to be interested in all.
Yeah. I'll trust you on the legroom part too.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it. Yeah.
Now we
Fully
know where all
support.
that leg room from all the planes that are shrinking.
Yeah.
All right, I figured out how to share my screen. You would think I would know how to do this by now, but sometimes it's difficult. So, as always, I like to track our social media following because I think it's very important to grow our following, and that's how we do a lot of our engagement and outreach. So, when I did this report, I put May for the May meeting, we had just over 1,200 on the next meeting, that's gonna jump up because I've been doing some campaigns for more followers, so I'll be happy to share that next time, but it's a steady, slow grow. I haven't done a lot of paid ads for followers, so I'm hoping to do some more of that after these events. Instagram, same, just a little bit of followers, not a whole lot. So this year is one of my focus to keep growing these, especially Instagram and LinkedIn, and try to get those a little higher. With Twitter, I'm not really sure. I don't think a lot of people in our community use Twitter. I want to give it a fair shot this year and see if I can grow it and see if it's valuable for us to have, and then maybe decide on a different platform, because I just feel like our community doesn't really use Twitter very
I wanted
much.
to ask about that. Have you considered Blue
Twitter.
Sky?
Sky.
Blue Sky
Um,
is wonderful.
Even next door.
No,
There's Nextdoor, there's Reddit. I want to see what some of the other agencies use. There's a lot of them out there. So yeah, more to come on that.
something other than Twitter, I would like to see. Thank you.
And then our QR code scans, I feel like we got a good jump on the website and the rider alerts. So that is really good that people are scanning those and getting information from our website or signing up for rider alerts. And then we had a little bit of jump on the QR code scans for our social media, which is good to see as well. Rider alerts, this is a little bit more slower for adding people, so we are thinking about doing some campaigns for that as well. I think what stops people is they have to create an account to sign up, and a lot of people don't like to do that. Once they create the account, it's really easy to select what routes you want, so trying to let people know that it's not that hard to sign up for an account, but it's really great to have that information, especially when the bridge was closed.
Yeah.
We were doing updates on social media and our rider alerts for that. So the biggest outreach that I have been working on was the Kingston Express additional service. It was super exciting to do this. So we have new schedules for our peak time, which is effective May 5th through September 27th, and then we go to the off-peak. We did call it summer and winter before, but we've changed that to be less confusing with winter, and the
Yeah.
schedule goes to a certain time, so.
Peak and off-peak works just fine.
Yeah, we did a press release, we put flyers in the buses, we did a social media post, which got a lot of engagement, a lot of people shared it for us, so that was great. And then we had these flyers that we put in the buses and some of the shelters with a QR code for people to get to the routes and schedule page. Talk about events, so Roadie is coming up and we're super excited. We are going to be in the parade with a bus and some staff members walking, handing out swag. And the theme for them is the 90-year anniversary Diamonds and Glitter. So we will have the Diamond Express that will be in the parade. So super excited about that. And we're doing lots of rider alerts and social media posts about the deviations for the parades. So hopefully we will see some of you at the parade. And Nicole mentioned that we are doing some farmers market and COA engagement. So we will be at the Jefferson County Library tomorrow from 11:30 to 2. Well, our consultants will be sharing information and promoting the survey and answering questions. And then Friday, we will be at Haynes Place from 10 to 1 and the co-op from 2 to 5. And then Saturday, the Port Townsend Farmers Market, and Sunday, the Chimicum Farmers Market. So hopefully we will get some good engagement at those. We're trying to go to where people are. I think Nicole mentioned that because we didn't have very much engagement at our open house last time we did it. So hopefully we'll get more. So very excited to see the outcome of that.
Do you have
And
all the volunteers you need for farmers markets?
yes, for these ones we do. And we're just trying to promote that survey. So if you guys want to help us promote it or share our Facebook posts, if you are on social media, that would be great. And just something to consider, we haven't picked other dates for farmers markets right now because it seems like we have a lot of events going on and our summer is pretty busy. But they do have Wednesday markets now from 3 to 6. And I would like to try to sprinkle in some other farmers markets, so I'm working on picking some dates and maybe even do some in October, because we usually only do them in the summer. So more information to come on those.
May I ask, is the Wednesday market gonna be at the Park and Ride at Haynes Place, or where's it?
No, it's gonna be,
Uptown?
yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, and that is new, so that will be exciting.
Wonderful.
Other events that are coming up, All County Preparedness Day in June, Veterans Stand Down in July, Jefferson County Fairs in August, Wooden Boat in September, the Quilting Fair and Parade. We were in the parade last year, so excited to do that again this year. And then the Port Townsend Film Fest, I just have that on there because, there's a lot of stuff going on with the film fest and we might be involved in some stuff, so good. And then I just like to share some of the social media posts that we've done, so posting for people to ride the bus to the farmer's market and what routes go there. We seem to have a lot of recruitment ads lately, so we've been posting, trying to fill some positions. My board meeting post that usually doesn't get a lot of likes, but Jill always likes it for me. And this was when we were at the connectivity fair, so that was fun to join. And that is all I have.
Excellent.
That was stuff.
Nice.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would like to interject that, that All County Preparedness is what used to be the All County Picnic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was traditionally done on Sunday when there wasn't bus service. And we successfully got that changed to a Saturday.
Great.
It's going to be out at Finn River.
Oh, excellent.
So I encourage everybody to attend that.
Okay. Excellent.
And I also had a very positive experience with the 14 and I caught the 11 and then transferred to the 14 and took the fast ferry to Seattle, had my clinic, and then since it wasn't a late run yet, I had to come back via Bainbridge
Mm-hmm.
and that Bainbridge connection with the Kitsap Transit. But that worked out good because I was worried about the 7 and maybe missing the 11. But when I learned that the 7 turned into the 11, it worked out perfect.
Yeah, it's
And
like magic.
And it saved me a lot of money because in the past, I've either had to spend the night in Seattle or in the past, I've had to rent a wheelchair accessible van to go to this clinic. And now with there being a late run, I'll be able to come back via the fast ferry.
Right.
So very exciting.
Very good.
Yep. Okay.
Laurel.
I don't know how you do that. Yeah, if I try and find the hand, I'll probably lose everybody. So I was just going to ask, the surveys will be at like the farmer's market and all those places where you're gonna, is that what I'm hearing? That the survey
online,
I'm gonna do
right?
online, it would be.
Yeah, so we'll have little cards with QR codes so you can scan it. We'll also have some paper copies as well. So if folks don't want to go online and take the survey, we will have some paper copies that we can give out.
Okay, I was just double checking to make sure that I heard that right.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
For those of us that are allergic to QR codes, you'll also have a website.
DuckDuckGo finally.
I found out about this tag meeting because of the signs they put in the bus. I never go to the website and look around and see what's happening with the transit. But if you have something important, they always seem to put it on the bus, and that's where I know a lot of people my age look for stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Rose?
Oh, I just wanted to announce that I've been working with Amanda Milholland, and she wrote a grant last year. I love her grants. And there's 3 of us on our team, and we are getting paid to do everything from social media, to person, group to group, and we're holding open out. Anyway, we have an extra training session about, because transit's gonna be at the farmers markets. And we have an extra one on Tuesday, a meeting on Tuesday, I think. Yeah. For the whole team at once. This is the first time the team's been together, but this is the first month we get paid for what we've been doing for 7 years. Yeah, so I've learned a lot more about social media. And I'm kind of like, my position with the farmers market is to be a liaison with transit. So that's perfect. You're gonna be there. Yes, and I love the website. I love the, I finally learned last year how to do the QR code, and DuckDuckGo recognizes me now. And everything's, I've got a mentor that's a young woman that does the marketing for the old alcohol plant, and she's helping me with my IT. So I'll be there. I'm there at every farmer's market in the morning, on the Saturday and the Sunday, only till noon, and then the Wednesday when it starts up, I'll be there too.
Great.
So, and I use Parking Right all the time, and I love the things that I've been learning about since January, you know, since I first had my orientation and went to the first meeting. It's like, I've got the whole picture in my head now, because I'm very visual, about all the projects that are online this year to be completed. And I haven't been able to talk to my team because we're helter-skelter. We just started out. So that will be my input for the extra training meeting we're having.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Absolutely. Anything else before we close out the staff reports?
Oh, just one more thing. Our team is gonna be splitting the bill. We're going to all the senior complexes and holding open houses for an hour to 2 hours about both the farmers market and transit.
All
Excellent.
right.
Because that's what we're supposed to be slamming together.
All right.
John has
Thank you.
something up again.
John?
Yeah, I
Fun.
wanted to say that I was disappointed that I missed the COA presentation last week because I had problems with the Teams software on, and I don't know if it was on my end or if it was the Teams software that was the problem, but I struggled for about 45 minutes trying to get onto that, and it just didn't work out.
Well, I would say, John, I encourage you to go onto our website and look at the video. And
Oh,
I think,
yeah,
okay, I
Oh,
think
it's recorded? Oh, excellent.
you'll get it caught up by watching that video. Great.
That's the 12-minute video, not a recording of the meeting.
You sent us out a link to today, right?
Okay, let's move on to new agenda items. This is an opportunity for anybody to bring forth any topics that aren't on the agenda, but are timely and need to be added. Call for that, any kind of topics for today to add as new agenda items.
Don't see any.
Okay, closing new agenda items. The next item is unfinished business, and we are going to go to our demonstration of what's called third-party navigation apps. We are going to take a 5-minute break though, because we are about to have a technology switch, and we all know how enjoyable that process is, because we know for sure something, we don't know what yet, will go wrong, as John has reminded us. So we're gonna let everybody just take grab a glass of water or something like that, and we will reconvene in 5 minutes at 5:45.
Okay.
Recorded, right? Okay. All right, welcome back, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity to take a very brief break while we set up a demonstration for third-party navigation apps. So before we get into the demonstration, let's take a minute to talk about why we're talking about this, and a little bit as well about how our agenda has shifted. You may have noticed today we did the tag business in a slightly different order. We had staff reports a little earlier so that we didn't wind up having to, having that at the end and having Nicole do her brilliant job of speed talking. Which was brilliant, but we figured we needed to end that era, so we've done our staff reports earlier. We are shifting our agenda approach a little bit more toward education and how we become better transit advocates for the community. So our agendas are going to start including topics that we talked about way back when in January. This is the first one. We were going to get to it in March, but we had so many exciting things to cover in March. We just weren't able to get to this, and it takes a while. But it's really about kind of, educating ourselves in new ways about new technology that's out there in the transit industry, ways we can lower barriers was something Nicole said a couple of minutes ago, and that's it too. How do we lower barriers to getting transit ridership going? That's part of our basic mission as the Transit Advisory Group. So that's why this demonstration today is kind of the beginning of that new approach to doing our agendas. Is we're going to start picking a topic and exploring it with enough time to discuss it or to present it, and then also have time for discussion afterward, rather than it just being a presentation and moving on to a new topic. So we have, our meeting ends at 6:30, and this will take up the bulk of the rest of our time today. I do want to ask, just before we get going, is there, does anyone on the call today from the TAG use a navigation app on their smartphones to get to, if you had to go to a new place, if you had to go to Bremerton or something like that, would you use anything on your smartphone to make that journey?
I would not.
Yes, I would.
Now that I got turned on by the dial-a-ride driver to a new navigation way, it's Wave. And he says it's much better. I learned the hard way because my first day alone, I was trying to use Google Maps and it quit in the middle of a route.
That's awkward.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
Because I don't know how, so that's why I'm here.
I'm learning all
Do
the,
it with everything.
Yeah.
She lets Siri on her phone, for heaven's sakes.
yeah, but you gotta turn
Dave,
it
how about you? Steve
make
and
it
Brandon,
secret.
you guys.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
Okay, great.
Yeah, great. So, and that's the reason I asked everybody and put everybody on the spot a little bit, is that's a great kind of full spectrum. Is we've got people who use it all the time. I use it all the time. I've used it for probably 10+ years, and all the way from to people who are new. And that's what we're gonna find in the community as well. We're gonna have people that are savvy users that use this like the back of their hand, and people who just haven't ventured into that because they just haven't seen it as a tool that's something that they're interested in. So talking about this today as a group is meant to kind of recognize that not only amongst us is there a spectrum, but there's gonna be the spectrum and the people that will come across at the farmer's market and in other public meetings. And when we're talking about transit, and people might say, I don't really know how to use transit, or I don't know how to get the schedule. I don't know how to get the information I need to get from one place to another. Asking them to pull out their smartphone, use one of these apps is one way to have that conversation. So that's why we're doing it today as the Transit Advisory Group. So what exactly is a third-party navigation app? That's a full name and quite a mouthful at that. Oh, and thanks, Commissioner Brotherton. Yeah, that's what we're going to use for Google Maps. So what is a third-party navigation app? It is basically a fancy way of saying an app that gets you from point A to point B. So, but it's a technical term, and it also allows you to get from point A to point B, not only by car. You can get there by bike, by foot, and on transit, or a combination of all those things. That's kind of what John was talking to us a few minutes ago about, is taking that trip over to Seattle, is that there's multiple bus routes involved. It's not just necessarily a point-to-point destination where you stay on one mode or one bus the whole time. So there are a lot of companies that provide apps that give this information. Some of the most common are Apple. Rose was mentioning Waze. Google is another one. We're going to be using Google for the demonstration today simply because it's the most popular app at the moment. The most people will have access to it. It's not what I personally use, so I may have some hiccups in the demonstration. But those of you guys that are avid Apple Maps or Google Maps users, you can chime in and we can get there together. So the apps not only provide directions from point A to point B, but they also provide travel time. And they do it by time of day as well, based partly on dynamic travel or transportation and traffic conditions. You can customize these apps to say, I want to leave right now. I want to take my trip right now. Or you could say, I want to take it tomorrow or next week or next month. And you can tell it what time you want to leave, part of the day you want to leave, and it'll tell you how to get there. So it's not just something where it only will take you right now. You can do trip planning with these apps as well.
It's not live though, right? It doesn't tell you that the bus is on the road. It just tells you the bus should be.
The bus, right now, the information that Jefferson Transit Authority sends to, thank you for the question, the Jefferson Transit Authority sends to these navigation maps, it is the scheduled arrival time. It is not the actual arrival time. But Nicole was nice enough to remind us about CAD AVL coming, Automated Vehicle Locator System. And that is coming on the horizon for Jefferson County. So it's not available today, but it will be available shortly. So this tool will get even better for transit riders sometime, I think, in the next year and a half. Nicole?
Yes.
What's your ETA? Yeah. No,
I'm gonna be non-committal. We're working on it. Like a year and a half. How about that one?
Very soon, very soon. Thanks for the hurry, Brandon.
He uses, well, I missed that. What was
He
it?
said, Commissioner Brotherton said he uses Google Maps.
Oh, okay, great.
I use the maps that I get at the transit station. They'll have one that says Port Townsend to SeaTac,
Mhm.
Port Townsend to Olympia.
Yep.
And if I ever have a quest, and I also travel with a map in my car because both my daughters want me to do the app stuff that you guys are talking about. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but not to them. Neither of them have a map of Washington in their car.
Oh,
I think that is so
haven't-
dangerous.
I haven't kept maps for years.
To make
Oh,
point
yeah.
that she's making is that we have an older community. And so you're talking about things that there are a lot of us may not quite be so willing to use.
And that's probably why we're having the conversation today. Not, you must use this.
It's
a
available.
Tool that is out there and available to you if you feel comfortable.
Yes. Mhm.
The other thing we've talked a lot about is youth transportation, honestly.
Yes.
Our community is definitely skewed a little bit toward one end of the age curve. But at the same time, we've been trying to encourage youth transportation options. And that is a generation that is coming up with extreme comfort with
Right.
these types of apps.
Yes.
So we want to make sure we recognize everybody in every choice that we make. People like Deb and Laurel still have the ability to use the methods that make sense to them. We're not stopping those.
Mhm.
We can maybe augment it. When you guys talk to other people in the community and say, did you know you can use your smartphone? You don't want to use it, but others might be
When you
interested.
have CAD AVL, I will use it.
Agreed.
And there's a
Yes.
great example of lowered bus.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Down in Olympia, they stopped putting out the paper bus route. You have to use the smartphone. And I've talked to other people that are in my age group and they're just really mad because it's like, what? Not everybody even has a smartphone. Well, maybe everybody does. I know I even have one, but that's because I'm on my daughter's phone plan and that's what she gets me. But anyways, I'm just hoping that we never in Port Townsend or Jefferson County get to the point where, well, now we're not going to make the paper ones for you old people. Because they did that in Olympia.
Yeah, okay. Brandon, over for your thoughts on this.
No,
too.
yeah, I totally agree with that. I think right now, what we have is a lack of accommodation for people who do use the smartphone apps, but I don't think we should stop making the paper maps entirely. It's kind of how some people are, they call them unbanked, like they only deal in cash, stuff like that. So
Uh-huh.
it's not for everyone, and we should accommodate everyone. But I know that I would have had a lot easier time figuring out the system if we had a smartphone app initially.
Yes,
So I think we're
Well,
moving in the right direction.
good.
And this is really the demonstration we're gonna do today. That's kind of what we wanted, why we want to do it is we don't have to wait for a customized app from JTA. We don't have to wait for that. That same capability is available on multiple apps right now.
You're
It
right.
might get
Yeah.
easier, but yeah, it's kind of a yes and world, right? It's many options, not just one. Dave, over to you.
Yeah, I think thinking of Laurel's comments, just a real brief aside, I'm a son of a Department of Transportation employee for 40 years, my father, and he used to bring home a new edition of the state highway map every year that I looked forward to. And, I'm probably one of a dying breed who knows how to fold a map. So I think for our community, it's important to kind of listen to what Laurel was saying too, is to make sure that I know sometimes it seems like it's economically feasible to drop certain services, but I do think that we should kind of have a long-term commitment to at least providing that paper option. Because yeah, it is something that could really alienate folks. And I'm kind of in that bridge generation, the late baby boomer that I just feel like sometimes it's not an option anymore to have that. And I miss those days of having an atlas in my car. But yeah, but I am a user of the, the electronic because I mean, it comes with everything. So, and it definitely is great. Although one time going to a wedding in Seattle, our GPS directed us, to a cliff. So I
That what marriage is?
I'm-
I
Oh my,
wasn't
that's a
wasn't
topic for the
speaking
next one.
metaphorically.
All right, can we do Deb and then Brandon?
I just wanted, working on the comp plan right now in the city and the county's doing it too. We have to remind ourselves that yes, we're an older community, but the people we want to get on the bus, yes, us, but we want the next generation to get on the bus. So this is really important.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
because I can't do it, it's completely irrelevant. Teenagers, young people can all do it. They do it naturally. And so I'm really excited that we're having this opportunity for the next generation to engage because they're the people we want to get on the bus for the future. You write a comp plan and all the old people say, oh, no, you don't change anything. But it's for 20 years from now. It's for the next generation. And so is this. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a yes and world. Yeah. Brandon?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything that's been said. I think that we should commit to doing paper maps and also doing it digitally. And I will say I've looked at Google before and it's great. But in a real-time tracking system with like bus GPS, like telling you where the actual bus is at any given time should be the goal. Because yeah, Google will tell you when it's supposed to arrive, but it won't tell you when it will arrive. But it does have a pretty comprehensive map of our system, which is good, and all of the other systems.
So, and I mean, in some sense, that's something that the app and the paper schedule have in common. Honestly, right now.
It's supposed to be.
Absolutely,
Both
yeah.
of them tell you when it's supposed to be there, but we know the real world is dynamic.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's a short delay for something. Somebody,
The bridge is open.
I have somebody who got caught in the Hood Canal traffic on earlier this week. Yeah, you can't plan for everything. So it's why, yeah, and it's a dynamic world. You can have many sources of information. You use what makes most sense to you. Today is really our chance to kind of say, how do we make sure that we all know what this tool is so we can help educate other people in the community, regardless of which one we use. to advocate better for transit is offer that to people and say, you may find this interesting, maybe I don't, but you might. And use those kinds of, that toolkit to engage the people that we talk with in our friends and family networks.
Yeah, well, and having a real-time tracking system might actually convince people who weren't interested in using their smartphones to track the bus to do so. And I know Nicole knows what I'm talking about because she was in Anchorage, but Anchorage has a real-time bus tracking system, which was really important, particularly up there because it was cold.
Winter.
Yeah. I mean,
Not at
you
the
really
bus
didn't,
stop.
yeah, you didn't want to sit at the bus stop for more than like 10 or 15 minutes.
Brendan's presentation was the first time I realized that the live tracking was possible. He made a presentation of the Anchorage system. I was like,
Oh, okay, yeah.
That, it was wonderful. Anyway.
I'd like to just mention, I looked to see where that hand raising thing is, but I couldn't find it. But I just wanted to say, I do get them to text me whenever there's a bus delay. So it's not like I'm against, I'm not like, oh, I don't want to go digital. I'm just saying that, I like the paper map so much because it makes sense to me. And the thing I meant about my daughters, it's like, they don't even have a map in their car. If they get in a dead zone or the GPS goes down or whatever happens, it's like, you should not be driving without a map that you can look at in your car. I don't think. But anyways, they do text me.
Because my car enjoyed rolling to 15 years. Oh, yeah, sorry, Dave, didn't see your hand. Go ahead.
No, just really quickly, I think that's the point right there, is that when we have a real-time tracking device, that would be you'd be able to really sell that technology at that point, because what you have is right now when you use a Google or something like that, you're getting a different depiction of what a paper map schedule is. When the bus should be there, but for somebody who's stood out waiting for Clallam Transit route number 30 in the dark on a snowy day, you're like, okay, did I miss it? Is it coming? Is it going to be another half hour when you're freezing to death out there and getting splashed? Yeah, that would be great. I mean, and that would really be the point at which you can really leverage that discussion, because you're getting something plus what you could get right now.
Is it happening?
So Brandon's hand is up next and then Becky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with Dave. I actually, in the wintertime, was trying to catch the Cook Avenue route back to the Park and Ride to catch the 6B, the last one at 7:05 out of town, and it was snowing, so they reversed the route, and I was sitting at the bus stop, and they just like drove past me. And if there was a real-time tracking app, I could have seen that the bus was going in a different direction, because apparently they reverse that direction when it's snowy, which makes sense. It's totally fine. So I had to run from the fairgrounds to the Park and Ride.
Oh, Brandon, we were on snow route. So
Yeah.
we can't go down Cook, so we go into a neighborhood and go to turn the bus around and then come back.
Yeah.
We were coming back for you, Brandon.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, we were coming
Oh,
back for you.
oh, that makes
We're on
oh,
snow route. Just for you.
that makes me feel so much better. I had no idea.
Maybe
But
we
I'm
should
glad-
proceed here.
Got your heart.
Well, I
Okay,
made it.
Great.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
ran, I
Right.
made it like to the last minute, so it was fine. But the real-time tracking app would actually really help with that.
Yeah,
You know.
solve that problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've had a good, kind of a robust discussion to get started, which is, what are these apps, how do each of us use it or not use it and why? Let's go into looking at what it would take. We're going to do two examples. One is just going to be a static example here. And that's if we left, for the folks who are in person today at Jefferson Transit, at 63 Four Corners Road. If we wanted to go to the QFC in Hadlock right now, or very soon, how would that look? We don't have our paper copy, so we're looking online and we're using Google Maps here. Again, because that's the most popular one, not because it's the best one, just because it's the most popular one. We're using the transit function Up here, as you'll see on your screen in the demo, we've chosen transit as the way to get there. We can see that the next way to get to the QFC in Hadlock doesn't leave till 7:13.
Mine says 6:04, 6:05. Oh, 7:13, there you go.
Yeah, 6:05 is what it is.
What it is
So
right now.
notice a couple things to look at. One is that's more than an hour away from right now. The second thing is service at Jefferson Transit ends at 8 o'clock. So you cannot get back tonight to Jefferson Transit. You could not get back until tomorrow morning.
You gotta
So
walk.
it-
Yep. This
That's
one's
right,
inti-
Brandon.
this
Brandon,
one's
you've
intimate to
inspired
me.
us on the great snow walk. We'll do it uphill both ways in the snow, just to prove it.
Okay, perfect.
But you can kind of see that, right, that leaves you in a bit of a bind as a transit rider. And that's partly why, for somebody that may not be sophisticated, using paper maps and paper schedules, in some sense, that's where a map can actually help you to remind you of that. You don't want to get stranded. No one wants you to be stranded. But if you were to take the QFC, if you were to take the transit or take the bus from here, Four Corners Road off to QFC in Hadlock right now, tonight the bus cannot bring you back. Now you could walk back, you could bike back. So you're not stranded, but you just need to know you cannot get back on transit tonight. So that's a static example, and that's just kind of one thing that this can offer you. It's not necessarily that it's world turning or any better than a paper schedule or any worse, but it's just there's some good stuff you can do, and if you want to, you can reverse the direction up here in the upper left and say, after I get to QFC, when can I get home?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 5.
Well, this one actually says you can get back tonight by refreshing it. Says the next one, you wouldn't have time to go shopping.
Turn
But
around.
you could get back at 7:22 or 7:36.
Okay.
So there are two other options there. So it's important not just to look one way, to look at your return trip as well and make sure on transit that you can get back, because transit in a rural community like ours ends at 8 o'clock. That's, that's what we need to do to keep our services running, and that's what's affordable. So not making that assumption that you can get back is as important as how you go.
Well, to me, it's common sense. You don't go shopping at 7 o'clock at night. I mean, really.
Well, there, for folks that do shift work, that might be the only time that they can go. So that's partly, the stores, if stores open till 9 o'clock, that's just a level of awareness to have, is that, you need to have options to go, and maybe this trip on this particular night, you might want to take, if you don't have a car, you might want to take a bike with you or be prepared to walk. But you've got other options coming back from transit as well. So the other one we're going to look at now is something that relates to a conversation that we've been having for a while about youth transportation. Conversation came up in the community a while ago about high school students that wanted to go to and from Chimacum High School, to and from Port Townsend High School.
Yes.
Teamwork and things.
Yes, events, sporting events, just to go see friends. So we're going to do that demonstration live. So Chimacum High School to Port Townsend High School. Townsend High School. And we're not going to leave right now. We're going to leave tomorrow. We're going to depart at, so we're taking our tool, we're taking this up a notch. We're going to say we're going to leave tomorrow. Go a little earlier. Let's say we're going to leave at 3:10 p.m. on Thursday, May 8th. That's tomorrow. You want to go, you have a sporting event tomorrow and you need to be able to get down there. So if you wanted to leave from Chimacum High School to go to Port Townsend High School tomorrow afternoon, maybe you're a parent of a high school student. Maybe you're the high school student who's really savvy on an app. Maybe you're a friend or a teacher who wants to look at all these things. You want to look at what your options are. So here's what your options are. You can have a combination of buses that are leaving at roughly the same time. You not only can figure out how you want to, can you get there, but there are multiple ways to take this trip. Some take longer than the others. Some require, all of them require a transfer except one of them. So if, for example, you want to travel on a route that has the fewest transfers, because maybe you're a new transit rider and you don't want to have to transit, it just feels uncertain. You know, if you're somebody who rides it all the time, you're good. But a new rider may not know that. They want to have
One bus.
one bus. That's what their route would look like. It's going to take them a little bit longer, but they might feel a little more certain of their trip if they only have, you know, if they only have to walk to the bus stop, get on the bus and then get off again. There's an example of what that trip.
That one has a 35-minute walk.
Yes, that's what causes it to
Okay.
be an hour and 3 minutes total. Maybe though, you're somebody who wants to get there as fast as possible. Now you want to depart at 3:10 p.m., but there are no buses that are there at 3:10. The closest one you can get that's going to get you there the fastest is that one right there.
Except for the walk.
The walk, well, but you have two, overall that afternoon, it's the fastest. We're just looking at the fastest. And yes, you're right. You're going to have a 15-minute walk and you're going to have to transfer twice. So when we talk about lowering barriers to transit ridership, here is, it's 6:20. Here's a good example of that. That's an intimidating trip to somebody who doesn't take transit a lot. There's 2 transfers and there's what could be considered a long walk because most Americans are willing to walk roughly 15 minutes or what they call the pedestrian shed, which is a 1/4 mile walk from where they're going to get on the bus. So there's a lot to unpack here. We're not going to be able to do it all tonight, and we're not going to. But what I'd like all of you to do after this is use that smartphone app, whether you want to use it in your own life or not to use it. You know, it's not trying to change a habit, but it's to see these apps through the eyes of somebody who might be of a different generation than you are, a different socioeconomic status, somebody who might need it for commuting, for example, somebody who uses transit for shift work. How would they see a trip that seems relatively simple by car? How would this look to their eyes? And can we, as the Transit Advisory Group, weigh in when left turn, right turn is looking at maximizing new transit routes about how to do that so that some of those barriers can get lowered. So we're looking at them necessarily with different eyes than the ones that we individually bring to how we travel. I'm asking you to look at it with the eye of somebody who maybe a different generation, somebody who's in high school. Looking at somebody who is a commuter rather than somebody who can ride, who might be retired like me. So take a look at that and do a little bit of thinking. So it's a little bit of homework for all of you between now and the next meeting. And, you know, feel free if you'd like, we can certainly, I believe we can send observations and compile them to Amanda. We can't talk offline because of Open Meetings Act. But we can compile observations and we could follow up at the next meeting and talk about any questions or issues or suggestions that this team has.
Excellent. I'm gonna go home and play with Waze.
Oh, I love that.
I just got turned on by the dial-a-ride driver.
Yep.
That was-
I see a thumbs up from Brandon. Is everyone else willing to give this a go? If you are, either thumbs up in chat or thumbs up visually, please.
As long as I don't have to do it live for
No,
everybody.
no,
to
no,
see.
no.
I can do it. Sure. Yes.
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 I
Yes.
can't find a thumb.
Well, at least that's, at least it's a good finger then. Okay, yeah. All right, okay. Okay, all right. So I appreciate your willingness to kind of sit through this conversation today. Again, partly why I'm asking for your feedback too is we're going to be having more conversations like this rather than just kind of updates and reports, more kind of conversation and dialogue. So you can certainly, weigh in on your feedback on the topic, but also how this worked in terms of a discussion for the Transit Advisory Group. Do you want to see more of this? Any adjustments we could make in the approach? With that said, then we are on topic for 2 items of new business. And one is preparation for tag meetings and time required. The other is the relationship between transit and our pending comp plan updates. So the first one, the preparation for tag meetings and time required, is kind of what we just talked about for our demonstration, which is getting ready for Transit Advisory Group. Probably for each meeting is going to require about an hour of your time. The meetings packets are sent out a week in advance by Amanda. Often we get a reminder from Nicole, which is great, about other things she might want to draw our attention to, information to read, for example, left turn, right turn, looking at that 12-minute video that and along with the survey. So when you come to the meetings, it's super helpful if you've had all that done in the background rather than you're just getting started on it when we're at the meeting. So I'm asking you to kind of, if you would, as members of the Transit Advisory Group, be willing to put in that hour
Homework.
prior to the meeting. So when we get here, all of us are as up to speed as we can. And that way we can maximize staff's time as well and ask any detailed questions of them live and in person. They're here. Any thoughts on that? Is everybody?
Oh, yeah, I like to read it on the big screen laptop. Not my little phone, although out in the world, I use it a lot.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that
that's-
seems reasonable.
Yeah,
Only
Fine.
do that.
Okay.
That's a good
what you'd
idea.
expect for an advisory.
1
position.
hour over a 2-month period.
Yeah.
that should-
Not too hard.
Too hard.
Yeah, I'm willing.
See who's in chat.
Didn't you?
Somebody's having a hard time getting through to us.
No, it's Brandon's thumbs up.
Brandon's thumbs up. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, it just seemed like something we hadn't discussed, and we've had a couple new members join us. It's a good opportunity to just kind of revisit assumptions and, that if we say, hey, if you come to this meeting,
I'm prepared.
come prepared, come having read your packet, come having read any documents that Nicole would like you to read, so we can weigh in on that and ask questions.
We all went to high school. We should know how this works.
Well, sometimes though, it's a good opportunity to just remind ourselves that when we commit to being on a group like this, that there's
I'm
work that
prepared.
goes with it, rather than assuming that we know that.
And I will be discussing this Tuesday at our team meeting with Amanda Milholland.
That is good. Okay, that is great. That's so super helpful. The second thing is, I know a lot of you are community advocates in your lives outside the Transit Advisory Group and are actively engaged in discussions. There are 2 comprehensive planning updates going on right now. One is for the city of Port Townsend and one is for Jefferson County, and those are wrapping up. But as members of the Transit Advisory Group, if you haven't attended one of those meetings or even sent public comments on how comprehensive planning can support transit and how transit can support planning, this may be an opportunity for you to do that. Whether it's whether it's you as a private citizen or you with a group that you advocate and work with. T-Lab would be a good example of that. Working with farmers markets, another example. Working with the port would be an example. Jeff's work with the city, probably he's living and breathing the comp plan right now. But that would be, those are opportunities to weigh in, and it's timely. We certainly want to do everything we can to support good transit services that are already here and also build that bridge to make them even better for the future.
Yes.
So there's that opportunity out there for you to make public comments on that. If you have time, I strongly encourage you to do so.
So we have, I'm on the active transportation stakeholder group for the city. And one of the things we have talked about in the past is how vital transit is to density.
Yes.
I mean, there's no question that it is the vital piece to creating the kind of density that we need to you know, address our housing
And protect
Problems.
our
and protect
habitat
our
and our open
habitat
space.
and our air and
all that.
all that. Yeah.
Well, I have been advocating for Jefferson Transit. 5.5 years, I got stuck at Bayside Housing. And I run the information board. It's a good job for next gossip. Information dissemination. So when the pandemic slammed everything down, Jefferson Transit used to deliver schedules. Ever since I realized that they weren't doing that, a lot of things stopped. I started going and asking bus drivers when they fully load up in the morning, can I have 1/3 of your schedules and your point-to-point schedules and your comment sheets? And they'll say, no, don't take that many. And I go, okay, I'll take fewer. But I load that board constantly.
You can just call us and we
Yeah.
can get those for you. You don't have to.
And
Okay.
From the,
and you can also start,
Jefferson Transit used to deliver them to the old alcohol plant.
I know, and at
And
at
the
one
old-
point, we had, we were flush with staff. So, but if you're out, let us know.
Okay.
And we can get those to you.
Yes.
Well, so far we're full. I just filled it up yesterday.
Brandon.
Brandon,
Brendan.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up density. Density is probably like the worst word you could use at the city of Port Townsend, having worked there. I mean, one of the things that we could do is we could advocate for zoning changes to I mean, like, I don't know how many percentage points, but probably at least 70% of Port Townsend is zoned for single family homes. And we need much more density in Port Townsend. And that
And
could
there-
help for ridership, you know, and that's something that we could do.
And they are working on that, but it's very important to speak up. Yeah.
yeah, and now is the time to send an email to the city or a letter or something, or even a call, depending on how you prefer to communicate. To let your voice be heard. Okay, we are 5 minutes away from the end of our agenda today. We have one last item, and that is agenda planning for the July 2nd meeting. The topic that is next up on our docket that I have is the link between affordable housing and transit.
There you go.
So we are excited about welcoming a presentation on that topic and a discussion as well. So I'm going to be reaching out in conversation with Nicole and Debbie as our vice chair about who we can get as speakers. We have a couple ideas, people who already work for Habitat and represent on city council. Bayside would be another one, and we'll see who has time on that day. But I would envision that we would be having essentially presentations to talk specifically about how transit supports affordable housing in our community. And that links back to that comprehensive plan discussion. So it's all kind of coming together.
If it would be helpful, I could probably get the chair of the planning commission to present. They're in the process.
If you know him, you might want to encourage him to participate. That's an excellent suggestion, Deb. Yeah, and we don't have to have just one presentation. We could have a couple speakers doing 10-minute presentations. So it doesn't have to be just one person.
A really good idea would be Amy.
Amy is the
Amy
one I was
Howard.
gonna tap,
Yeah,
yeah.
would be
She
perfect.
said she's interested. I talked to her a couple months ago during that active transportation workshop.
Yeah, Amy Howard is
Amy.
city deputy mayor. And she's also works for Habitat.
So I mean, she'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
She would be perfect.
Yeah, and she wants to, so she may delegate it to her staff, but she recognized that that's an important link to
Mhm.
make. So that's gonna be what our topic is on July 2nd. Does anybody else have anybody that they think might be interesting to contribute to that conversation?
Housing Solutions, they were,
We just said, yeah.
they work with Bayside Housing too. You know, they're married.
Good, thank you for that. Okay. 3 options then. That's
And just like
Excellent,
for
excellent.
30 minutes.
I keep all the business cards. I have a card tray in both the common room and my desk. It's like, Cards.
HSN had a very nice cover letter on their monthly newsletter about densification and
Oh,
the
that's good.
of it. So. Network.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, a very, very good commentary on the importance. And I think that would be very helpful.
And just a quick note, I'm moving into another Bayside thing that's permanent housing for women. In other words, we pay our like a subsidy 30%. In the newly remodeled daylight basement rooms at the 150-year-old Starrett house that Bayside bought. So I'll be in town.
That is good news. That is good to know. So we've got, it sounds like we've got enough folks for the affordable housing conversation. On July 2nd, also, we will be having what we referenced with Commissioner Brotherton a minute ago, which is some sort of presentation, ideally on the site plan for the Gateway and Visitor Center.
Oh.
And if there is an opportunity at that one to have the initial CAD AVL update, just where staff sees that going, perhaps that could be another topic, even if it's not a long discussion, but just a quick update. Nicole, is that possible?
Yes, it will be very brief. 30 seconds.
Well, there was enough interest today in real-time updates that it seems timely to make that bridge. To that
We
topic.
can, yeah, I can keep saying that we're gonna work.
We're all really excited
phase
about it.
two.
Yeah.
Phase two.
Right. Yeah, okay, that's plenty then for our upcoming July 2nd agenda. Sounds like we'll have a very full meeting. We do have one last item, and that is public comment. Does any member of the public wish to give comments? You are online, or is anyone? Yes, please. If you're online, please raise your hand.
He has his hand up.
Oh, great. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
He unmuted himself.
Tom, if you can hear us, we're working in the room to make sure we can hear you.
There you go. I think you unmuted.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Good afternoon, everyone. Real quick, not to keep you too late, just a couple of comments. First of all, I just have a request as a viewer of the meeting. If you all could use the gallery view so that all the faces of all the people attending could be seen at the same time, instead of having the screen switch back and forth to just the person who's speaking, I think that would be much more useful. It certainly is distracting when the screen keeps switching around, but that's mostly a personal preference, but it is a request.
That's actually a Zoom meeting setting.
It's a Zoom meeting setting that you can control as the host, and I can't control as just a viewer.
I think you can.
No, I can't, sir. I'm sorry.
Thank you. We will look into that.
This is
we'll
my
look into
my
that.
time to
That's fine.
comment, not to
Oh,
argue, okay?
Of course, yeah. Not trying to argue.
If you don't accept my suggestions, that's fine, but it is
Not-
a suggestion and
Not
a
trying to
request.
do that.
If I
Yeah,
may continue
understood.
without being interrupted, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I don't know who the chair of this meeting is, but they need to keep your members under control.
No one can keep me under control. I'm just kidding.
Tom, please
Sorry.
continue.
Go ahead, Tom, please.
Are you looking for a lawsuit? You're about to have one.
No, I'm not. Go ahead.
I
Please.
suggest you shut it.
Okay.
Can we mute the members while we're having this conversation so that Tom may speak?
I will mute.
Please continue. Our members are muted. We want to hear what you have to say.
Thank you. I have two other thoughts. During your discussion of online monitoring of where the bus currently is, one thing that was mentioned was that people feel more comfortable having a paper map. Good idea. But, and one of the things that was mentioned is that, well, if you're using your cell phone, but you don't have signal, if you're in a dead zone, what do? Well, you should take advantage of offline maps, which is a standard feature of Google Maps. You can store offline maps on your phone. So when you're talking about the subject, the next time you might want to bring that up as a way to teach people how to use offline maps. I use it all the time. Works great inside Olympic Park. The last thing is for your electric bus. Glad to hear it's coming. I have a suggestion. Why not run a contest to name the bus?
I like it.
You could give away as a first prize, maybe, free rides for a year, including the Kingston Express. That's all. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
That's great, Tom. Thank you for adding your voice to these issues.
The offline maps he's talking about,
I do.
do other features, other mapping
We need
things?
to close public comment. Okay, so are there any other members of the public who wish to give comment? Okay, with that, I am closing public comment. And because it is the end of the meeting, we are going to adjourn. And so I adjourn this meeting of the Transit Advisory Group at 6:31 PM.
I
Next
second.
meeting is July 2nd.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.